Hello and welcome to Timeline Off Tales. The clock ticked past midnight in the silent studio. Taylor Swift sat alone, surrounded by the quiet hum of equipment and the faint glow of city lights outside. The world was asleep, but her mind was wide awake, restless with thoughts that wouldn't let her go. She wasn't there to write a song, at least not in the usual sense. Tonight, she was there to plot her next move, to figure out how to take back what was hers. Earlier that day, news had broken. Her first 6 albums, the very foundation of her career, her life's work, were sold to someone she considered an enemy. The headlines flashed everywhere, and the betrayal stung deeper than she could have imagined. The songs that told her story, the melodies and lyrics that had shaped her journey, were no longer hers to control. It felt like her voice had been stolen, but surrender wasn't an option. She refused to let her legacy slip away without a fight. Reaching for the nearest thing, a cocktail napkin, she grabbed a pen and began to scribble, her mind racing with determination. She wrote down the names of her albums: Fearless, Speak Now, Red, 1989, Reputation. Each title was a chapter of her life, a piece of her soul. Beside each she wrote, My Version. It was more than a label, it was a declaration of intent. This wasn't just a list, it was a battle plan, a promise to herself that she would not be silenced or erased. If she couldn't own the originals, she'd make new ones. She would reclaim her story, one note at a time. She'd rebuild her catalog, note for note, but this time stronger, wiser, and completely on her own terms. The napkin became her secret pact, a silent vow to reclaim her voice, her art, and her future. The world thought she'd lost, but they underestimated her resolve. They didn't know the fire that burned within her. The war for her music had just begun, and Taylor Swift was ready to fight for every single note. To truly grasp the depth of Taylor's fight, you first need to understand what masters are in the music industry and why they matter so much to artists. The master is the very first original recording of a song, the source from which every stream, vinyl, CD, and digital download is made. It's the blueprint, the foundation, and the heart of an artist's work. Whoever owns the master controls how, where, and when a song is used, whether it's in a movie, a commercial, or on a streaming platform. They also collect the royalties, which can be worth millions over time. When Taylor signed her first record deal as a teenager, her label took ownership of her masters. Like many young artists, she dreamed of one day buying them back, regaining control over her own music. But in 2019, everything changed. Her trust was shattered when her masters were sold to Scooter Braun, a powerful industry figure she saw as an adversary. For Taylor, it felt deeply personal, like a stranger had purchased her private diary, filled with her most vulnerable thoughts and memories. Now, Braun controlled her most personal songs, deciding where they could be played, licensed, or even heard by the world. The betrayal was total, but instead of breaking her, it fueled Taylor's determination to fight back and reclaim her story. This battle wasn't just about money or fame, it was about creative freedom, artistic control, and the right to own your life's work. The label and Braun may have owned her past recordings, but they could never own her future or her voice. They thought they could silence her, but Taylor proved them wrong. Her fight for her masters became a rallying cry for artists everywhere. Taylor's story is the industry story. Taylor's story is the industry's story. For decades, labels took the risk and the reward, owning artists' master recordings. Musicians poured their souls into songs, but the labels held the keys. Most artists had no choice but to accept these terms. Legends like Prince fought for their masters, but few won. Labels controlled the radio, the distribution, the path to stardom. Artists who pushed back risked their careers. But by 2019, Taylor was a global superstar with millions of loyal fans. She didn't need a label to amplify her voice, she was her own megaphone. For the first time, an artist had the leverage to fight back. The industry's grip was about to be tested. Taylor's plan was radical and simple. She decided to take back what was hers, not by fighting in court, but by using her creativity and determination. Instead of letting her old music be controlled by others, she would make it new again, on her own terms. The label owned her old recordings, but not the songs themselves. The masters, the original recordings, were out of her hands. But the heart of the music, the songwriting, still belonged to Taylor. As songwriter, she could legally re-record every track. This meant she could create fresh versions of her biggest hits, giving fans a new way to experience the songs they loved. She'd create new masters, Taylor's version, albums she'd own outright. Every note, every lyric, would be hers to control, from the studio to the streaming platforms. She recreated the originals with precision, but added her matured voice and confidence. The new recordings captured not just nostalgia, but growth, her artistry evolving over the years. She even released never heard from the vault tracks, making each re-recording an upgrade. These bonus songs gave fans more than just a repeat. They got a deeper look into Taylor's creative world. In April 2021, Fearless, Taylor's version, dropped. It was more than an album release, it was a statement of independence and artistic power. Fans embraced it, streaming and buying the new versions, leaving the old ones behind. Swifties rallied, making it clear they supported Taylor's fight for her music. The re-recorded album debuted at number 1. It was a commercial and cultural triumph, sending a message to the entire industry. Taylor's strategy worked. She devalued the old masters and took back control. The power dynamic had shifted, and she was now in charge of her own legacy. Studios and advertisers now wanted her versions, not the originals. Taylor's versions became the gold standard for licensing and sync deals. She followed with Red, Taylor's version, breaking records and proving her model worked. Each new release was met with anticipation and celebration. Taylor was rewriting the rules, not just for herself but for artists everywhere, showing that creative ownership is possible with vision and courage. Taylor's victory was cultural, not just financial. Her fans became a digital army, boosting her new versions and boycotting the old. The value of the original masters plummeted. Taylor's new recordings soared. She didn't buy back her past, she rebuilt it, stronger. Her fight shifted. The industry labels began offering better deals, and new artists demanded ownership. Inspired by Taylor, stars like Olivia Rodrigo secured their own masters from day one. Today, Taylor Swift is a symbol of artistic empowerment. Her re-recorded albums are declarations of independence. She proved artists can reclaim their stories and control their futures. Her blueprint is now the industry's new standard. The lesson: never let anyone own your voice. Taylor's legacy is a testament. Your art is worth fighting for. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share.